surprise, surprise, folks. You've heard voices in your head the entire day practically, some different than others, but nonetheless, same place, same idea, same event happening, folks. We are out here at the Wiregrass Ranch Sports Campus, and you would have guessed it, folks, we are playing more basketball right here in the heart of Wesley Chapel, Florida. It's the HoopSeen Florida Jam, showcasing the talents of 5th grade all the way up to seniors in high school who may or may not be looking for a potential college, but nonetheless, we got some more talent, and we are watching it firsthand. Had a couple of games earlier in the action, but nonetheless. Folks, actually, could we pause for a moment and get 1 second for a technical issue? So technical difficulties being assessed, and we will have that fixed momentarily. All right, folks, we should have that assessed nonetheless, but so far what seems to be 2-0 lead for what should be this Raptors squad. It's a Liberty Edge squad facing off against a Raptors squad. We got to witness an older Raptors squad earlier in sheer dominance in a 40-point margin in game number 2, and you see already taking and grabbing and trying to finish on that other end. It looked to be Mr. Tristan Norris. Could not finish the jam, and instead it's back the other way. The Liberty Edge looking for their first basket so far in this game. And I know right now, James, you know, we've seen a lot of talent being displayed today, and you got to call the last couple games. Just from your viewpoint, you know, what have you assessed and what have you seen out of the couple teams that you've gotten to call so far?
Well, Billy, from what I've seen is that chemistry is the key. The teams that know where they're going to be without needing to take the look, the teams that just seem to be in rhythm with each other, the teams that seem to be coming out on top, the teams that have those set plays and just can run their offense through each other, rely on their teammates rather than trying to do it all themselves. Those teams are the ones that have been coming out on top.
That's Kia Jenkins putting it in, so that's another basket for this Raptor squad, a 4-2 advantage, folks. And as mentioned, it was a 49-10 victory in sheer dominance for the athletes of influence, and I got to give them a lot of credit. I had the pleasure of calling their game a month ago when they were right here in the Wiregrass Ranch campus, and I have to say, it was interesting. Black shirts, you know, not a lot of emotion out of them, and they just looked defeated after a couple of their games, but they came out today flashing new uniforms, flashing a disciplined style of basketball, not turning the ball over, taking good shots, making good passes. It is astounding to see what kind of difference a month can make for a basketball squad, too, might I add, that prior to March had only been playing for 2 months together, as opposed to a lot of these teams here who have played for years with one another. So a lot of credit to that Athletes of Influence squad, almost going through sort of a self-discovery, rebranding moment for themselves. And it is really encouraging to see. And I got to say, bit of a twist and a turn. Our last tournament saw a lot of games being decided by 8 points or less. Today, we've only had one game that's been decided by under 10 points, and it was that Skill Center squad that grabbed a 9-point victory against a Stingray squad 2 games ago. As we have another basket going on the Raptors side, and it looks like going to the line, it should be Tristan Norris. So 6-2 is your ball game so far for the Raptors, and just a lot of contact so far, and I guess we are going to also get a timeout with 12:21 remaining. So we've seen a lot of Raptors so far, you know, a couple baskets, a couple defensive stops, and I think right now for the Liberty Edge, seems like the quickness of the Raptors caught them off guard and maybe the physicality, so looks to be a way maybe for them to respond here is either up the physical ante or maybe the pace of play.
Absolutely, Billy, and you mentioned it right here that the Raptors, they've come out firing. It seems to be that they're getting those rebounds underneath the basket right now. They're the ones coming down with it, stealing those extra possessions, allowing themselves to get those second chance points right here. The Liberty Edge want to get themselves back in this game, get this score back tied, or even take the lead. They are going to have to box out.
Going to have to box out indeed. Again, physicality has been the name of the game in this tournament, folks. It just seems like every single game, no matter what the score is, both teams are playing for something. Could be a state championship berth. It could just be the sheer fact that you need confidence and poise and really just something to win. You know, as a kid, in high school. You know, you always want to win or achieve something, especially growing up, trying to prove yourself and prove your worth to others. And it seems like that's been the motivation in this tournament for all of these kids. And they have displayed great poise, great maturity, and great sense of style in their game, especially as it continues to develop so far. So a 7-2 run thus far for the Raptors to start off. Part of the reason right there, it's a turnover, a steal going back the other way, and unable to get that basket. That was Tyler James. So James can't finish. Going up is Norris. He can't finish. D. Harden tried to get it. And here comes that Liberty Edge squad trying to find the edge. They're unable to. Tyler James steals it back. He'll put it up. And I think we had a whistle, and it was a carry. So maybe getting just a little bit too quick with that turnover.
Absolutely. You mentioned it, Billy. Just trying to work a little bit step too quick right there, trying to hurry it up. But this is a big opportunity right now for the Liberty Edge. If they are able to capitalize right here, they can get themselves back in this game and make it a one-possession game again.
Again, my name is Billy Adams, your play-by-play commentator for this matchup alongside James Irwin out of Full Sail University, the Dan Patrick School. That is Full Sail University out in the greater Orlando area. That's right? Greater Orlando area?
Winter Park.
Yeah. Shout out Winter Park. Very, very nice school. Had the pleasure of even meeting Austin Rivers. Shout out Winter Park legend.
Absolutely.
Winter Park legend. Nonetheless here, legends trying to, you know, potentially make a name for themselves. Some of these legends in the making. As you see, they're fighting in the paint was D. Harden, as it should be a jump ball going back. And it will stay with the Raptors. So again, fast pace of play has been the mantra for most of these games, and now a chance to see a set from the Raptors, something we haven't gotten a chance to witness.
And I like this right here from the Raptors, giving them a different look early, have them try and prepare for a few different looks on the defensive side of the ball.
Kason Lewis with that shot on the last possession. He recently checked in for the Raptors. So new set of fresh legs going. The Liberty Edge trying to find something in the paint. That was Kyan Manzano. He's off the mark. Caden Tuttle working the other way. And folks, if you're listening, big news in the NFL, just in case you're an NFL fan out there. Shedeur Sanders is a Cleveland Brown. So shout out to the Browns fans. Shedeur Sanders is a Cleveland Brown.
You know, some thought he'd be there at 2. They didn't wait until day 3.
Well, some say, I guess the Browns, what was that? Is that the 4th round still?
5th.
5th round. Some would say he could be a 5th round steal. Who knows? Who knows?
Number 144 overall to the Cleveland Browns. The stories can end. ESPN can find something else.
ESPN can find something else. Hey, you know what? It's good. Deserved to get drafted. It's cool that Cleveland's there because, hey, it'll be a quarterback battle. They got Dorian Thompson, Kenny Pickett, and now Shedeur Sanders has entered his name into the Cleveland Browns.
And Dylan Gabriel, don't forget, they drafted him earlier in this draft.
It's almost like the less impressive version of when the Redskins drafted RG3 and Kirk Cousins in the same draft.
Yeah, they're Commanders now.
Commanders now indeed. Up top, though, commanding the ball is Maurice Carter for the Raptors, working up top. Again, more sets of fresh legs. This Raptor squad, not similar to the athletes of influence. They're very, very wide when it comes to their depth, as that last 3 was made by Evan Sweat. A completely new 5 out here for this Raptor squad.
And Billy, that was a fantastic shot right there made by the Raptors. Falling away, too. Was going away from the hoop and is able just to find nothing but net right there. It's 13-2 right now. Raptors taking over right now.
Taking over, and it might have been a much-needed foul there coming as Maddox Strayer was able to force the foul. And you mentioned it. It was a nice shot. Falling back was the number 2 spot in Evan Sweat. And you know, that's one of those questionable calls, too. Could have been contact, could have been a late foul to get a potential 4-point opportunity here. But as we've seen, too, leads are never safe in this tournament. We've seen 15-point leads dwindle down to 5. We've seen 10 down to even losing the lead. So, again, it is a 10-point lead, but still plenty of basketball left. 9:20 remains here in half number 1 with Sweat up top. Another steal opportunity. Unable to get possession there was Caden Tuttle, but even if you're not getting the possessions in that moment, it's important that you're forcing your way inside.
Absolutely, and even just giving the Raptors, just forcing them to make that second look or second pass, just giving them something else to think about can do a lot for for the Liberty Edge here, as they are trying to come back right here. It's 13-4. They were able to get a couple of shots right there, but they've got to be able to steal a couple of possessions away from the Raptors right here and go on a little bit of a run.
And it's kind of like a building block when you're in a deficit, right? You know, you have to find one thing that works and then eventually build into another. And for this Liberty Edge squad, they're starting to find it. They're forcing some turnovers, forcing some pressure, and what happens is the Raptors begin to get uncomfortable. The passes they were making, they can no longer make. The shots they were making, they're no longer taking, and the Liberty Edge see that and have now taken advantage. 4 straight points, now made it a 7-point lead, and all it takes, folks, is a couple stops. And you never know what could happen, as we see here, some pressure coming in the corner, trying to keep it in play, not able to, and it's going back to the Edge.
And Billy, this is the type of energy you're wanting to see right now out of Liberty Edge. You got to get that aggressiveness, and you cannot be scared to make a mistake right here. You just got to go for it. It's 13-6 right now right here, and a couple of made shots right now. This basketball game can be flipped on its head.
And we saw a couple of flips, and sure enough, flipping it right in was Kian Manzano. So Manzano's on the board. It's a 5-point contest, nothing going for the Raptors thus far. And it looks like a foul. That should be on Jeremiah Blanche.
And what a response right here, Billy, from Liberty Edge. You see it again, quick little steal in the backcourt. That is how you steal possessions and get yourself back in this game. 3-point game all of a sudden.
That's Caden Tuttle, folks. So all the Caden Tuttle fans out there, he's put his team to within 3, and a hard layup going on the other end. Unable to get it where the Raptors trying to get it back once more. That was Kia Jenkins and could not finish, but the Raptors do maintain possession and up 3.
And that's the importance of boxing out right there, Billy. Imagine if Liberty Edge was able to get the possession back right there. The momentum would be fully on their side. Now another chance for the Raptors, and when you're trying to come back like this, you cannot let them keep extending their lead, giving them those free opportunities.
Bit of a collision, and boy, I thought that might have been a quick turnover, but instead it becomes a travel violation. So once again, Kia Jenkins on the recipient end of an unfortunate call. And now here's the chance. Does Liberty Edge try to tie, or do they cut it to within 1? Haven't seen too much of a 3-point shooting day from them, but, you know, things can change. Momentum can shift. Working inside.
And Billy, that travel call against the Raptors actually helped the Raptors. Liberty Edge had a wide open path on a fast break to the hoop right there. The travel forced them to slow down. It gives the Raptors time to reset their defense, and it comes up big right there as they are able to get the stop for the time being.
So for the time being, possession does slow, and coming in for the throw-in is Jeremiah Banouche. So Banouche, the kick inside. It was an easy basket. Maddox Strayer on the board. They're within 1. Back the other way, it's Kia Jenkins once again and makes up for a lost possession on the previous one for the Raptors.
Billy, I don't know how Liberty Edge is going to be able to stop Jenkins right here. He gets down the floor in a hurry.
Somebody needs to clock him on the 40-yard dash and see what it is, because he's got some wheels, and we might have a free throw opportunity. No, it's going to be called on the floor as Devin Amador went down, and that foul actually may have been on Kia Jenkins.
You remember who had the fastest 40-yard dash this year at the Combine, Billy?
I don't.
It was Matthew Golden, first-round pick for the Green Bay Packers this year, and he's going to be Super Bowl MVP from what I can see of Matthew Golden.
From what you can see, hey, Jordan Love's probably throwing a party right now.
I was throwing a party.
I bet. Hey, Packers, you know what? The Packers have always had sneaky good receiving depth.
Yes.
Doesn't matter what year. It could be the Greg Jennings, Jordy Nelson year, or it could be right now with Romeo Doubs and Christian Watson at home. It just depends on the day.
And getting Matthew Golden in there, added Jaden Reed as well, Tucker Kraft, Josh Jacobs. There is weapons to go around for this Packers offense.
Weapons to go around indeed, and so far there's been weapons on both sides. Got to give a shout out. On one side, we've seen Caden Tunnel pick up the defensive slack from the Liberty Edge side and take over. Kian Manzano as well on a couple transition baskets have been keen in this slight comeback after a large first-half deficit for the Liberty Edge. But on the Raptors side, and you mentioned him, Kia Jenkins, that big purple number 6. He is fast, he is quick, he is elusive, and that is going to be somebody we're going to have to keep an eye on, because if you can't keep up with him, tempo, pressure, and ultimately transition baskets are going to be an Achilles heel for this Liberty Edge to stop, especially if it comes from Kia Jenkins.
And you know, Billy, I got to say, I got to feel bad for our cameraman, Mike Zanetti over here. He's got to try and track Kia Jenkins coming up and down the floor. He's doing a great job, though, in my opinion.
Blink and you'll miss him. He is Kia Jenkins up top right now working. No surprise there, folks. A 1-point advantage as the Raptors look to close in and potentially extend. But here come the Edge.
And what I've noticed, Billy, is more in the first half, as this first half has gone on, the Central Edge, or Liberty Edge, has really been attacking more to the basketball in the paint. You're seeing it now, 3 or 4 orange jerseys going after the guy who's trying to go up in the paint. You didn't necessarily see that a lot in the beginning of the first half, and it's causing a lot more problems for the Raptors as they try and score on the inside.
It's amazing what a little bit of pressure can do. Just knowing that somebody is there constantly makes you feel uncomfortable. And what could have been a foul on one end turns into a turnover for the Raptors.
And you mentioned it, the pressure. Look what a little bit of pressure did right there. It's an unforced error on the Raptors. Possession back to Central Edge.
Here's Caden Tuttle working, going up and driving. It's Devin Amador, folks. How about the dish and the finish from Amador?
Well, Central Edge needed to pick up the pace to match with the Raptors. How about that for some speed and some energy? Perfect pass, and that is the chemistry that we were talking about earlier, Billy. The teams with the chemistry like that can make plays like that go far in the tournament.
Tyler James working on the other side. That shot attempt from Evan Sweat off the mark. Fighting for the offensive board is Connor Atwater, and it should go to the Edge.
Well, you see their head coach, he's getting vocal with it, animated with it. Those are the type of basketball coaches you like playing for. Guys that care about the game just as much as you do. You can tell when they want to win, and judging by these animations and emotes that we're seeing from the coach, you can tell he wants that win.
Well, he seems like a guy who he's straight to the point. And, you know, he wants his players to understand as Devin Amador, back-to-back baskets, gets them up by 3. Now any lead at this point is their largest lead. They're starting to extend and making a run. But I think it's important for coaches, you know, especially in a young, upcoming adult's life. I think coaches need to be more like that. It's how you develop players. It's the clear, cutthroat communication that's going to help you develop your skill and also just help you in life in general. So the Edge have the edge with 5 minutes remaining here in the first half. All of a sudden, folks, it's a 9-2 advantage in the last 3 minutes for the Liberty Edge. The Raptors coming back, going up, going in, and unable to finish was D. Harden, but not before he drew the foul, and he should go to the line for 2.
That's exactly where he'll go. These are some big free throws right here for the Raptors. If you're able to hit both of these right here, you got a 1-point game. If you're able to if you do miss both of them, the Central Edge just keeps giving them momentum.
Some big free throws coming up for Harden. He has yet to score in this one and will have to unfortunately wait until his next attempt. But nonetheless, folks, mentioned a 9-2 run has been sparked by 3 steals and 4 points off of those turnovers. So the Liberty Edge picking up the pace, picking up the pressure, and it has worked tremendously. The Raptors unable to capitalize on the free throws, but an offensive board coming on the side that is Catron Cherry Jr. So he gets it, and it's like deja vu all over again, folks. We have another foul, and guess who's going to the line? Once again, it's D. Harden.
Well, and you just got to give Harden credit right there, Billy. He's not scared to get physical in the paint, go up and get those rebounds. This is huge right here to make up for the missed free throws earlier.
It's almost like he replicates that Harden name because, you know, James Harden loves going to the free throw line. Any chance James Harden gets, he will go to the line and draw some contact. So D. Harden doing his best James Harden impression at the moment, making the first but not the second attempt.
He's just missing that facial hair.
Just a little beard, just a little bit. He'll get there. Give him a couple years. 4.5 minutes remain.
Oh.
It was a 2-point ball game. Could it be a tie? No, too strong on the other end. Oh, that was a freebie. I think that was Tristan Norris. An unfortunate error turns in to really a celebration for the Liberty Edge. Another basket. It's a 5-point contest with 4 and some change remaining.
Well, Billy, the Raptors right now, this game has been flipped on its head, absolutely. From being down almost 10 points, 8 points, to now having the lead and hitting threes from downtown. Liberty Edge is making it rain.
And they're making it pretty much impossible to score in the paint. That was another missed basket coming from Kaysen Lewis. That's 3 consecutive layups missed. That 3 just off the mark. How about the offensive board going up and going in? How about Kian Manzano? That's 3 offensive rebounds and 4 points now for Manzano.
Billy, does it just seem that the Raptors right now have lost that edge that they had in the beginning of this game? Liberty Edge right now doing everything right now, and it seems the Raptors cannot get a break at the moment.
I'm starting to see some frustration out of D. Harden, too, kind of slamming the ball and a bit disappointment. Just got to keep your composure in a moment like this. Still a 7-point ball game. You had control. It's all good. There's plenty of time to come back. And for the Raptors, too, to keep a note, folks, their roster is pretty deep in terms of substitution, so they can produce fresh legs, and they can reset if they need to. This is a perfect time to, as they are down 7. And just like that, that's all you need is a basket. Tyler James, the recipient end, and he'll go to the line for a 3-point try.
Well, we've seen that a lot, Billy, where sometimes, young players, the emotions can take over. They go up to the net a little too fast. That's why you can see some of these layups be a little bit too strong and roll out, not take the shooter's bounce that you would like. Great job right there, recognizing he needs to go up a little softer right there, getting the easy basket.
Katron Cherry Jr. with that steal, so he forces a turnover. Trying to get a second chance opportunity off the mark. Fighting for the board was Andy Chow. And it looks like Chow will draw the foul. It will be on Cherry Jr., so Cherry Jr. picking up the foul. 18 fouls now on this Raptors side, 14 total. So again, we haven't seen contests before this one be as physical and also draw fouls, but this one is physical and seems to be drawing fouls. Could be the refs, could be the pace of play, or maybe the intensity of play. Doesn't matter. Everybody's shooting free throws from here on out with 1-and-1 or 2-point opportunities. And with that, it should be at the line, Andy Chow.
I think it affects a lot that the intensity of this game, Billy, has just picked up. Both teams wanting to be physical and score through the paint. Which defense is going to step up and respond and generate the most stops?
So now Andy Chow made the first, makes the second. The lead is back to 7 for the Edge. Here we go, folks. 3 minutes remain here in half number 1. It's been a high-intensity first half. It was all Raptors for about the first 8 minutes or so, but the Liberty Edge have breathed new life into this team. Back the other way, and a nice block, sending it away. That was Kia Jenkins. Boy, Kia Jenkins just met Maddox Strayer in the paint and said, yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so.
You shall not pass, says Jenkins. We've known the work he's been able to do on the offensive side. Now becoming a brick wall right there on the defensive side. It's going to be tough to get those layups up against Kia Jenkins, especially if he times it up like that.
How do you respond to a hard pressure defense? Well, you play some defense of your own, making it harder for the Liberty Edge to score and getting some frustration. And there it is, folks. We have a block on the first possession and a travel on the second possession. Very much needed now for this squad that is the Raptors. Up top and working. That's Kaysen Lewis working. Jenkins driving. Jenkins can't get it. Lewis has the offensive board. He'll kick it back out. That three-pointer from the corner on the money. It's Cadence Marriott.
And they needed that right there, Billy. Right now was Liberty Edge taking advantage of the three-point shots, using that to extend their lead. That one gets them within 4.
Here we go, working. It's Amador. And Devin Amador, unfortunately, turning that one over. Now, the roles are reversed. We saw the Raptors forcing turnovers, and all of a sudden the Liberty Edge came to life, forced a couple turnovers, got a couple baskets, and now we've seen a block, a travel, and another travel from the Liberty Edge offense, and the Raptors are roaring, and maybe, just maybe, they could cut this lead down to 2.
Well, Billy, this feels like one of those classic March Madness tournament games where it's just a game of runs from both teams. It seems like we're seeing that right now. Raptors take a run, Liberty Edge get a run to get back into it. Now it's the Raptors' turn going back on a run. They're only down 2.
It's just a game of cards. You're just trading, seeing what happens, whether it's Pokemon, Bakugan, Yu-Gi-Oh! Depends on what it is and the time of day. As Katron Cherry Jr. did get that last basket, there's a foul on the floor, and it will be committed by Cherry Jr., and now we'll shoot some free throws at the hands of Tyler Angelo.
Were you a big card guy growing up, Billy?
I used to be, yeah. I used to collect a lot of Pokemon, and then one day I just said, yeah, I'm too old for this.
Yeah,
Shout out to all the 40-year-old men bombarding Target for Pokemon cards.
Hey,
Couldn't be me.
To the guys out there making content, just ripping sports packs, that's got to be the dream right there.
You know what?
So.
It probably is the dream. It's not my dream, but it's somebody's dream out there. I remember Blake Bortles. Somebody asked Blake Bortles when he was a quarterback of the Jags. They said, what would you be doing if you weren't playing football? And he said, doing construction and ripping cigs, and some people, some people are just going to rip some cards. It just depends on the day. 90 seconds remain, though, here in the first half, folks, and we are just ripping baskets one after the other. Right now, the Liberty Edge, they had a 7-point lead, and then all of a sudden it's dwindled down to 2 as that goes back up to 3 thanks to Tyler Angelo in his most recent free throw.
And free throws like that can be important, Billy. We've seen it in games in this tournament and even in past tournaments where not hitting your free throws allows that other team that little bit of a break they needed to get back into the game.
Free throws do matter in a close game, especially as you're closing out. So it's something to keep an eye on, folks. Depending on how close this game gets in the second half, that's where giving fouls start to take place. It's where contact starts to initiate a little bit more to force some stops. And, high school can be a hit or miss with free throws. We had a 45% conversion rate in the last tournament of free throws, so less than half were being made. So it's going to be something to keep an eye on here as the Liberty Edge are now up by only 1 point thanks to a recent basket from Tyler James. The Edge working. Another turnover. This could be the opportunity for the Raptors to take shape and make another run. Long bomb coming deep, 3 just off the front iron. And it should be a rebound for Angelo.
That's not a bad look there from the Raptors at all, Billy. That's an open shot, just unfortunately couldn't get that one to fall. But if you're the Raptors, you got to take that one again.
You like what you're seeing if you're the Raptors right now and just can't finish is Kia Jenkins. They do get the offensive rebound, though, against 4 defenders. And unfortunately, the travel on Kason Lewis sends it back the other way. But, man, despite the missed shot, that's a hard up and under layup that a lot of people aren't going to convert, and it's a great offensive board. So nonetheless, they're still playing with intensity, and they're still playing with purpose.
Yeah, they got the backcourt press right now, too, causing a turnover in the last 10 seconds of this half. That's brilliant work from the Raptors right there. They guarantee themselves a chance for the last possession of the game, or of the half, excuse me. We have another half of this, which is fantastic, Billy, because we get a second half of these two teams again. Sign me up.
That is the 21st total turnover here in the half, so turnovers have been very volatile. 22nd right there, you see the last second shot attempt. It just slices on the left side as Kian Manzano could not convert, but nonetheless, the Liberty Edge were able to convert into a lead and hold that lead for about 5 minutes of time. It's been as large as 7, and it now dwindles down to 1, but nonetheless, it's a back and forth affair and a lot more basketball left.
Absolutely, and if you are the Liberty Edge, you have got to be proud of how your guys responded to that early deficit right there. Even having the lead, as minimal as it is impressive considering where they started. You got to love the adjustments made by both teams, the adjustment that Liberty Edge made of now going up to the basket, making those shots really tough for the Raptors when they're attacking the net. And then on the other side for the Raptors, when the Liberty Edge started going on their run, they started becoming more physical in the paint. So both these teams responded really, really well to each other. And, man, that was a really fun game of basketball to watch.
Liberty Edge holding the edge at the moment with a 1-point advantage. But as you've seen, folks, it's very volatile here, and anything can change at any given moment. Again, Billy Adams right here taking you through today alongside James Irwin. The Wiregrass Sports Campus of Pasco County is where we are, hosting basketball all day long today and tomorrow. And we are right here on the Florida Athletics Network. We're back in a couple minutes, folks, right after this. Well, welcome back, folks. I had no clue we were live for that 2-second moment. Just don't mind me, just warming up the vocals. Not like they need to be warm anyway. We've been speaking practically the entire day. But nonetheless, Billy Adams alongside James Irwin here. It's not Steve Irwin. It's James Irwin. Shout out to a legend.
It is.
But nonetheless, folks, it was a jam-packed first half. A lot of steals, a lot of turnovers. This is a lot of give and take. But more importantly, enough baskets to make it a whirlwind of a contest, a 1-point advantage of what was a 7-point game by Liberty Edge. But the Raptors, who had life, now have even more life thanks to a man that we noted earlier. It's Kia Jenkins.
And Jenkins, he has been the X factor on offense for the Raptors all afternoon, continuing to prove why there. It's a really, really good shot selection and a really nice finish on the follow-through.
Haven't seen that a lot from the Liberty Edge. We've seen him work on the inside, but the outside, not so much. Could be a bit of a strategical change to maybe find some outlets. Working inside and taking some contact is Tyler Angelo. Well, I think he was met by at least 3 men. That was a grown men play by the Raptors specifically.
Took a lot of contact right there, but if you are the Liberty Edge, you gotta like the no fear from Adams right there, Angelo, going up there and taking the basket.
It's what you need. You need to show signs of aggression and signs that you're here to play, you're not here to settle. As once again, Angelo finds himself in the mix. It's a turnover. Here comes Jenkins. Jenkins and company. He's helped by Harden. That shot off the mark. Fighting for it. Getting it. Here we go. It's Angelo. Angelo going up. Can't finish. Harden the rebound. Rips it away. And finally, it should be Catron Jr. Bringing it back up the floor. That's Tyler James. Folks, he had a couple baskets in that first half. Here's the step back from Jenkins. And Tuttle grabs the board for a chance to reset.
And to me, Billy, that is going to be the deciding factor of this game. It's going to come down to controlling the basketball. Who can limit the turnovers the less and who can steal the possessions more away from the other team.
There's some outside work, but instead it works to the inside. Caden Tuttle grabbing the miss and putting it back. So second chance points and free throws will be crucial in a game like this, folks. Every point is going to matter the longer this contest goes on. Working. There's Tuttle once again. He's got a 3-on-2. Tuttle will take it himself, and a strong finish by Tuttle, and nonetheless, he's got 4 straight points and a 2-point advantage.
Well, in the way this Liberty Edge defense has been playing, they have been causing issues for the Raptors when trying to find the open man and in the passing lanes. Just have been done such a good job of closing up that space between the basketball and them.
We see Kao out there joining the mix. He checked in most recently, had a couple free throws earlier in this contest. Going up is Catron Jr., and Catron Cherry Jr. gets himself on the board.
That was just a miscommunication right there from the Liberty Edge defense. Nobody went in and made that tough for him to get to the basket. Had a wide open lane. Might be the easiest basket he'll have all afternoon. Really no one there for the Liberty Edge right there trying to defend that one, and it was a perfect finish.
So gets a potential easy basket and also a quick turnover. We saw Maddox Strayer step out of bounds. So the unfortunate circumstance leads to a Raptors basket. And there it is, folks. 4 points of a trade. We had 4 for the Liberty Edge and 4 for the Raptors. Back and forth we go. Going up, trying to go in, and drawing the foul there was Amador. So Amador drew the foul, and it was committed on Kaysen Lewis. So after what was an eventful first 3 minutes, finally getting a stoppage in play, everybody finally getting a chance to breathe, and it'll be Amador at the line for the first time. And now, after what felt like an eternity of Liberty Edge leading, they find themselves back in a deficit.
Well, right back to just where we started, it seems the Raptors' offensive flow, Billy, has seemed to really found its rhythm, if you will. They are putting up the mid-range shots, and then even the deep threes that they are getting, they're good open looks. They've not been scared to take those shots all afternoon, and today, this time, they were falling.
And once again, folks, Billy Adams alongside James Irwin out here in Wesley Chapel, Florida. It's the Wiregrass Ranch Sports Campus of Pasco County. This is the HoopSeen Florida Jam, showcasing talent from 5th grade all the way up to seniors in high school. We even got a special guest of Joe Philon doing the scoreboard. As you guys know, Philon, one of the top recruits coming out of Florida, and has yet to commit, folks. So going to be some exciting stuff to see, not only where he commits, but where a lot of these talented stars are going to commit in the next couple months and the next couple of years. Again, Florida's future stars right here in the Wiregrass Ranch campus. The Raptors trying to find a star-studded effort, coming back the other way. Instead, the Edge finding themselves in rhythm. That mid-range shot just off the mark. And it's back the other way. That's Kason Lewis. Maddox Strayer on the last attempt for Liberty. Up top, it's Jenkins. Jenkins and Cherry Jr. going to slow it down just a bit. Kason Lewis going to say, I'll take it. It'll be Tyler James up top with Jenkins. Jenkins a step-back jumper. Too strong off the back iron. It's Tuttle. So Tuttle will have Banouche. Coming up the floor, it's Strayer. Kicks it out, that's Kao. Kao the drive. Off his foot, gets it back. One more pass. Strayer steps back. And a 3-second violation going to be called on the floor.
Well, I just want to say that was fantastic awareness right there from Andy Chow on the floor. Lost the ball, had enough awareness to recover it, and then normally we see a jump ball in that situation. No, using that elusiveness that he possesses right there to get away from the defenders and find his open man on the outside.
Working up top, it's Cherry Jr. picks it in, and a little slice and dice coming from D. Harden puts his team back on the board. They're up by 4.
Fantastic work there from Carey Jr. and now gets it back for his Raptors again.
Harden, back-to-back baskets. It's D. Harden, folks. He showed a lot of frustration at the end of that first half, and all of a sudden the poise and the confidence is there. 3 straight turnovers, leads nearly to 3 straight baskets. Boy, and I think Tyler James wanted a bit too much.
I was going to say the same thing. Tried to go for the dunk right there instead of taking the easier shot for the points. And that can kind of happen with a young player emotions like that. We kind of talked about that earlier where they kind of come up a little too strong. The emotions are allowing them. Those types of moments where you just need to slow the game back down, realize the situation you're in, go up and get the points for your team and extend the lead.
And that's the interesting perspective on it, too, because, as an adult, we're in our 20s and we see that, and knowing the game of basketball, to take the layup. In that time to take the layup, and you just remember as a kid, you get so excited because those moments don't come every day.
Exactly.
Not even every game. So it's just, the response is always different. It's always interesting to see, and yet these guys are so talented as he goes right back up with the layup that time, and unfortunately it was too strong. It's always interesting to see, and it's always interesting to see how these guys learn from it as he's able to get it right back there with a nice putback.
Well, and you mentioned that the missed layup was strong right there, but you notice how he adjusted his spot. He didn't go up for the dunk trying to throw it up as hard as he can. He did put a little more finesse on it.
Katrin Cherry Jr. gets the turnover, and the forced turnover. Folks, it was a 2-point contest 90 seconds ago. It is now a 10-point ball game. The Raptors have soared in control with 10:40 remaining here at the Wiregrass Ranch Sports Campus. The Liberty Edge, we were talking all edge in the first half after they took the lead. And now, dinosaurs are extinct, but the Raptors are alive. The Raptors are alive and well.
Absolutely. And, well, you kind of mentioned they had the lead in the beginning. We had saw what they were capable of in the beginning of that first half, the lead that they had got out to. Be interesting to see, Billy, if the Liberty Edge can do that same thing, respond, and get themselves back in this game. We know that they have them in him, so the Raptors right now, they got to keep their foot on the gas.
The foot is going to need to be on the gas because as we've seen with the Raptors, the same capabilities can be said for this Liberty Edge team. We saw them make an 8-2 run. We saw them make a 7-3 run. These little runs that they built up is what transpired into a 7-point lead in the first place, in which was their peak control in half number 1, but nonetheless, that control has turned over to the Raptors. So right now it's Andy Kao. He'll work, loses it. Katrin Jr. puts it back up. And Katrin Cherry Jr.'s got 10 points and a couple baskets already in the last minute. Back the other way, it's Strayer working inside with Angelo. Angelo losing the handle. It's back to the Raptors, and the lead is now 12. And now, as quickly as it was a ball game, it just feels like it's slowly falling out of the hands of the Liberty Edge.
And Billy, with only 10 minutes left, there's a lot of time left for the Liberty Edge to claw themselves and get themselves back in. It just starts with playing that physical defense we saw from them at the end of that first half.
Up top and working, it's Kason Lewis. He'll have some help from Evan Sweat. First time Sweat has checked in this half. It'll be Lewis once again working. Couple set of fresh legs for this Raptor squad, no surprise. Got plenty of games to play today, so you may as well keep it as fresh as possible, especially to help the longevity throughout this summer stretch. Lewis up top, driving. Oh, and he might have went up and down. They're going to call it travel.
Up and down travel, same result for the Liberty Edge, as they're trying to go deep down the field.
And another travel call. I think Cherry Jr. was trying to get a wrangle on it and just went down awkwardly at the same time.
Well, they were looking deep downfield right there, Billy. It was 1st and 10. They wanted off 50 yards right there, trying to get into field goal range, and it ended up working.
I'm sure the Green Bay Packers scouts are writing notes down as we speak. As we speak. Hey, never know. Multi-sport athletes definitely lie in this building at the moment.
You see one of our scouts over there in the crowd, Billy.
I was about to say, I see a Green Bay shirt. Well, you never know. That could be a Grambling State shirt. We don't know. We don't know. We never know. There could be the one Grambling State fan out there.
Go up to him and say, "Go Grambling State."
No,
you'll probably see the most confused look on his face.
I'm sure. Oh, man. You know what? Nonetheless, though, another trip to the free throw line for the Raptor squad. It's Maurice Carter going to the line for the first time, wearing the infamous 23 that we've seen by so many well-known athletes, especially in the basketball world.
I can't think of any, Billy.
Yeah, off the top of my head, who would know? Who would know, honestly? It's a mystery. It's a mystery. 42-30 is the lead. Again, the largest, as you see some mishandling going on the Liberty Edge side. And now it just seems like every possession feels just discombobulated on this Liberty Edge.
Absolutely, you're right. And for the Liberty Edge right now, you see the missed free throws that the Raptors giving you. This is an opportunity right now to get some momentum and stop whatever the Raptors have going on their side. But if you're the Raptors right now, you want to keep pouring it on. The foot is all pedal to the metal right now. Keep it where it's at.
And that is Jeremiah Banouche up top working, another number 23, and Damian Vieira. Vieira working up top. That's Angelo working at the top of the key, driving into the paint, and that might have been one of the most important baskets of this ball game.
Especially for the Liberty Edge, a chance at a three-point possession right here. And you're right, just a swing of events like that, they can go down on the other end, get a stop. It's a game of runs, Billy, so it all starts with one. You don't want to get it all right here. You got 8 minutes left to play and some change. So
a much-needed free throw, but nonetheless, it was just a much-needed basket. Something had to fall for the Liberty Edge. Lewis trying to make it fall. A fight for the board. And it looks like Banouche will get it back the other way as Angelo driving over 3 defenders. Working outside, that long three, just off Banouche the board. It's blocked, has some help, floats it in. And Jeremiah Banouche is going to put his team to within 8.
And that's what you want to see right there from Banouche. Going up, getting that rebound. You needed that effort right there. They needed those points.
So 8:09 remains, 42-34 is the advantage. As another foul being committed on that side, it was Andy Kao with the foul. And shooting at the line for the first time and actually checking in for the first time today, that's Gavin Lawless. So shout out to the family of Gavin Lawless if you're watching. Your boy, he's checked in and he is ready at the line. Missed the first attempt. Does have another attempt here to extend his team's lead to 9, and he does. So Lawless is on the board for the first time today. 43-34 is your score. Again, the Raptors have had a lead as large as 14. It's dwindled down a little bit, but right now the Edge just can't seem to find consistency or a rhythm. Nonetheless, they respond. It's back the other way. That's Amador. Amador, a beautiful Euro step. Tipped out of his hands. And it should be a foul, and it will be.
And that's big right there for Liberty Edge. And this game for them has just been all about resiliency, Billy. When you face the early deficit, they responded. They kind of faced a late deficit here in the second half, and they responded. Every turnover that they make, they seem to respond by making a play on the other end. And it's why this has been one of the best basketball games we've seen of the afternoon right here.
And just as I mentioned fresh legs, we have a whole new set of fresh legs checking in for the Raptors squad, but on the Liberty Edge side, Damian Vieira checking out, and checking back in once again is Maddox Strayer. Strayer has been instrumental in the offensive routine today for the Edge, but nonetheless, 4 new players checking in on this Raptors side. Unfortunate missed free throws there coming on the side for what is Devin Amador, and the lead remains at 9.
I like this man-to-man press that we're seeing right here out of the Liberty Edge. Keep that pressure on the Raptors defense because you get turnovers like that.
Atwater lost it back the other way. Strayer trying to keep it in possession, and unfortunately, it's going to go back to the Raptors.
Very, very close call right there. Official on the baseline has a better angle on it than us, but nonetheless, you got to love the hustle that you're seeing out of the Liberty Edge, especially on the defensive side of the ball. They are fighting to get back into this one.
A lot of stoppages here in this middle portion of the second half, folks. Both teams just cannot seem to really get a grip on possession. It's either a fast break, it's a turnover, or it's a foul. But right now, working up top, finally finding some pace is Cadence Mariex. And another turnover, folks. That's the 9th turnover of the half. We had 22, actually 23 because we did end on a turnover. 23 turnovers in half number 1. That is 9 already here in the second half of play. Working up top here, that's Schrade. Haven't seen much of Aiden Schrade until now. Nonetheless, he's in. Strayer, step in. Banouche up top with help. A whistle. Oh my goodness, would you have guessed it? The arms in rotation, it's another travel. Another travel. That's the 5th travel call in 1:15 seconds.
You think these referees are ready for a vacation?
Oh my goodness. You're not going to get a vacation if you continue to make calls. That is not how it works. Not how it works at all. My goodness. 43 to 34.
I get the traveling calls, but at some point, when do you take into account that these are still high school kids?
They're still high school
maybe
kids.
let one of these steps live a little bit.
There's also just a lot of contact in this contest being made too, so that always has to factor in your possession and how you're handling the ball. But hey, taking advantage of that contact on the other end, that was what looked to be Garrison Smith. So Garrison Smith going to go to the line for the first time today. He's played a couple minutes in the first half, played a couple minutes in the second half, but has yet to find himself on the scoring margin.
Billy, the best comparison that I have for the traveling reference that we've made here is I used to umpire before I moved down here for Florida. And
oh, boy.
They would tell us you can't call an MLB strike zone for 11-year-olds because you're not going to get MLB strike. They just can't throw strikes consistently enough. It's kind of like that with the traveling. It's like, maybe let an extra step or two breathe a little bit, just like you maybe give a little more on that outside corner, try and get some strikes.
You would also just hope that 11-year-olds will swing at everything. I think that's the idea in my brain, at least.
Absolutely, but you got to remember, a lot of kids come up to that plate and, they see another 11-year-old throwing a baseball at them, and it can be kind of scary.
I know if it were me, I'd swing at practically everything and just see what happens, especially being at that age. I mean, I think I did that in basketball, too. If I got the ball, it's never a pass mentality. It's just, I just want to shoot. I just want to see what happens.
Here comes Billy at half court, and he shoots it with 30 left on the shot clock.
Exactly. Oh, my goodness, and a nice block there is Devin Amador. Staring down his man. Amador coming out of nowhere, and again, if you're the Liberty Edge, you can take what you can get, whether it's on the defensive or offensive side of the ball, and maybe some much-needed confidence there from Amador.
Well, you cannot question the hustle of the Liberty Edge, that is for sure. They are always making plays.
There's Amador on the other end, so a block on one, and instead of a basket, he'll get a foul, and he should be able to shoot 2.
Just under 6 minutes left to play here, Billy, and the time is winding down for the Liberty Edge. We've seen them make their comeback before, but if they can't get any runs going offensively and the score just kind of stays where it is, you got to like where you are if you're the Raptors.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned time because we are on a 3-minute, 36-second scoring drought. So for both teams, we have not seen a basket in 3 minutes and 36 seconds, folks, and that just shows you it's not a lack of skill. It's not a lack of trying. These two teams are playing hard, playing fast, playing physical, and more importantly, too, there's a lot of calls going both ways. As frustrating as it can be seeing calls, they're going both ways, and the Raptors did not see that one go their way, so now it's a 7-point advantage, and breaking a scoring drought was Tuttle. So now the Liberty Edge get a basket, get a turnover, and now they have a chance to capitalize.
And these are some of the possessions you have to capitalize on right there. You have to get points right here. Just keep closing that gap and putting the pressure onto the Raptors.
Under 6 minutes remaining, still plenty of time for anyone to decide this ball game. The question is, how long of a possession can somebody get off before a whistle is blown? Kicking it out. Some contact and a nice block there. That was Jenkins. Jenkins blocking that one, and saving it was Amador. It should stay with the Edge.
That is a really, really smart play right there by Liberty, throwing the ball off the nearest Raptors player, keeping possession right there. We've seen a couple of those smart, high IQ basketball plays right there.
And unfortunately, that was not the high IQ play we were hoping for. Back the other way is Garrison Smith working with Jenkins, and Kia Jenkins is back on the board.
Might be on me.
You never know. Nobody really knows if a broadcaster's curse is real or not. Here's Banouche. Oh, dishing it inside, going up, and a very awkward shot falling in for Devin Amador.
Sometimes you need unconventional right there, and that certainly was a perfect example of it. Nonetheless, finds the bottom of the hoop.
Those don't happen every day, but that defense was not there, and that might have been the easiest basket of the day for Kia Jenkins.
Well, that just shows you when they are able to take advantage of Liberty Edge defense lacking a little bit, he can go up and score easily. Just speaks to how good both defenses are playing here in this one.
It'll be Strayer working up top with Banouche, kicking it out. Tuttle for a corner shot. Just off the side iron, a nice board. And Amador's got a second chance opportunity, spinning. Oh, and he's going to be called for the offensive foul. It's Amador. Looked like it could have been a travel, but they did call an offensive foul. Might have gotten him for the hand. And now we got a timeout on the floor, so 47-38. A timeout coming from the Raptors side. 4.5 minutes until game number 6 is decided. And now it's interesting. Now it's interesting because we got a little bit of some discrepancies going on with the timeout amount. But nonetheless, the Liberty Edge looking for some sort of solution, right? We've seen them try the outside shot. Hasn't worked. We've seen them try the inside a little bit more, and they just cannot seem to get the ball without traveling. What do we feel like the solution is here? What do we feel like is the direction?
Well, I feel like the direction right now for the Liberty Edge is you got to pick up the pace, and especially on the offensive side, you don't necessarily look for these threes, but take what the defense is going to give you. Slash and dash, go up for these easier shots, because we've seen it. When they were doing that, the deficit just kind of seemed to fall for the Raptors. And if you're Liberty Edge, you got to trust your defense, but you got to get the points to back up your defense. We've seen a little bit, maybe the energy a little bit of the Liberty Edge kind of falling, and when you see those open shots like that for the Raptors, we see them making it.
So 4.5 minutes remain. We resume play. Kia Jenkins, as you see, with the handle going up, and he's got some help from Giovanni Jackson, the first basket for Jackson on the day. Spreading the wealth just a little bit on this Raptors squad as we wind down. There's a long kick out to Angelo, working in the paint. The Raptors working harder, finding it. No surprise, folks, it's Kia Jenkins finishing and finding the rim once again. The long cherry pick pass off the leg of Kian Manzano. Nothing is happening on the side of Liberty.
I am very surprised at how that is not a foul right there against the Raptors. A lot of contact underneath the basket right there. And Billy, I got to be honest, I'm surprised they haven't called it. We've seen a lot less called.
A lot less certainly has been called. It could be the makeup for it. We're not sure. But nonetheless, it is not in the benefit of the Edge. And we will have another substitution. It looks like Damian Vieira going to check in. Andy Kao going to check out with under 4 minutes remaining. A 13-point advantage, the second largest margin so far for the Raptors. And I say it's been all Raptors. it's really just been all Kia Jenkins. I feel like we've said his name countless amounts of times.
Absolutely. He's making plays on the defensive side of the basketball, forcing the steals, creating turnovers, and then he's finishing those turnovers. So he's backing up his defense, getting the points, and really he's just so fast, so athletic, uses his size advantages, a very, very long wingspan as well. He's just really a perfect basketball player. He's got the build for it, and he's making the Liberty Edge pay.
Once again, he's a blink and you'll miss it player as you see him at the top of the key working. And he's able to draw a foul, and that should go on the Liberty Edge. It's going to be called on Aiden Schrade. Also recently checking in, wearing the 4 jerseys, Colin Burnett. And it looks like we have a bit of frustration coming on one end. I think that's Kia Jenkins. So Kia Jenkins is very frustrated. I'm not sure what happened.
Looks to be something that may said or couple of timeout right there. And maybe the Liberty Edge coach is right. Maybe that should be a T.
I think they're telling Aiden Schrade to stop talking a little bit. So yeah. Aiden Schrade's going to be sat down. I think Aiden Schrade might have said something. I can't see a player just kind of snapping like that unless something was said that we didn't hear. That's unfortunate because both were playing very well today.
And you obviously in this tournament that we have had here, it's been so warm and welcoming. You want to see good sportsmanship right there, and don't know what was said, or maybe a bit of a grab, an extra grab underneath, emotions, high frustration, a little extra shove, but nonetheless, Kia Jenkins played a fantastic game, and again, give credit to the Liberty Edge. This was a fantastic first half we watched. 2 very evenly matched teams right here.
I got to mention, too, just off the top of my head for his day, Kia Jenkins had 26 points, folks. 26 points, 5 assists, 6 rebounds, and he stole the ball 7 times today. Kia Jenkins was absolutely a dominant affair when it came to this Raptors team. Back the other way, though, another dominant edge coming from Tristan Norris. He started the game, hasn't been in much, but finds a steal. Another steal coming on the other side. That's D. Harden.
It looks like the Raptors are rallying behind their teammate Jenkins. It seems that they have just found that second win, that extra gear that Liberty Edge has yet to find here in this second half. And right now you can tell by the energy the Raptors are fired up. And I want to give credit to Norris right there on that shot. We've mentioned a couple times before how the emotions of the game can be running high and you can go up a little bit strong. Fantastic basketball awareness right there. He slowed down his shot, went up, didn't do too much, and he was able to get the easy points. This guy.
2:47 remains, 57-38. I mean, one more bucket, and this game could end 2 minutes early. There's always a chance this game could end 2 minutes early. You never know what could happen. But it's nice to see guys playing through one another. It shows how long they've been playing together, the chemistry they have, and it also just emphasizes, again, it's more than basketball. It's family, it's brotherhood, and that's what they're able to show today, and it's a great display of that. Unfortunate that we saw the frustration out of Kia Jenkins. He's a phenomenal player. We got to see a lot of talent out of him today. But at the same time, you can sit down and you can reflect and you can say, you know what, we had a dominant performance. He gave probably the best performance of the day so far. That's something to be proud of for Kia Jenkins, and especially anyone watching out there who's a Kia Jenkins fan or family member, a lot to be proud of today from that young man.
Exactly. He was just a force to be reckoned with. So fast, so quick, and a very, very talented player. You can tell the hard work that he puts in is paying off, and you just saw the attitude and effort out of Jenkins today, and, a little bit of a spat there at the end, emotions, tensions running high there a little bit, but nonetheless, a fantastic performance from Jenkins.
Connor Atwater with possession. He drew the foul. That final foul coming on Devin Amador. So 2.5 minutes remain. Amador gets the foul, and we should have a 1-on-1 attempt coming to the line now for Atwater.
And for the Liberty Edge, Billy, I know that there are probably a couple calls in this game that went against them that probably are a little frustrating, and they maybe feel should have gone differently. But nonetheless, they stuck with in this game. This score could have been a lot worse if you watched the first 10 minutes. So got to give Liberty Edge credit. They stayed in this game. They fought through it. Maybe a couple of difficult calls, through a couple of tough deficits, but nonetheless, they were in it, and they did not give up.
Well, it's just one of those instances, too, folks, where the scoreboard does not tell the whole story. You know, this was a 2-point game for majority of the contest and even for first portions of the second half. But all of a sudden, the Raptors had a couple steals and a couple makes by Kia Jenkins, and it was a 10-point ball game. And all of a sudden, it was a 19-point ball game. The score is now 15, but they have, as you have seen, had control majority of this half. Looking to close out on one side, that's Gavin Lawless, somehow able to get it away, driving through and drawing some contact there was Giovanni Jackson.
Really good job by the Raptors offense, Billy. They were trapped in the backcourt for a long time. Give credit to how Liberty Edge defense played it, but the Raptors stuck with it. They didn't panic. They stayed in their zone. They trusted their teammates, and they're at the free throw line because of it.
Seen a couple close calls there with the potential 8-second violation, but you know, nonetheless, he seems finding characteristic and really creative ways to get out of that situation as we see another foul. It'll be Tuttle throwing it in. He's working with Angelo. They just need something to fall into the hoop. Going up, unable to get his own miss for the second, now third time. Going up, Amador fighting, can't get it. And boy, Kian Manzano had about 4 or 5 opportunities. Another foul and another make there from Maurice Carter. Boy, and it's interesting watching this just from the outside perspective. You know, despite it being a 17-point game, it feels like a 2-point game. Everybody's playing so hard, and it just, the atmosphere is amazing because both of these teams just look angry. They look kind of frustrated and flustered. This is a 17-point advantage, folks, and the Raptors look like they're losing. It's so interesting to watch. Here's a long bomb for Angelo. Lawless to guard, going up, and once again, another and-one opportunity. That's back-to-back possessions, and now, folks, every team is in the bonus. So, could be interesting to watch with as much contact as we had. Does it come into play in these final 80 seconds or so?
And I got to mention, Billy, that the Liberty Edge, you got to give them credit. They are staying with it. They are fighting through right now. Couple of calls that they are not getting. They probably should be getting. The officials holding the whistle for some reason.
Boy, and you could just see the face of despair on Cam Manzano. So tired and so fatigued, but it's because he's fighting so hard. That's his 6th offensive rebound in this half alone. Manzano absolutely making a tear. And the unfortunate stat I have to give out, they are 2 of 17 from the free throw line.
I was just going to mention, it feels like Liberty Edge is really, you know, say what you want about calls going their way or not, but you got to still be able to hit their free throws. Even if they made half of those free throws even more, this score is looking a lot different, and they got a much better chance to stay in this game.
And I was going to mention, if you make at least half, if not more, we have ourselves a ball game. It's been the unfortunate circumstance. So now, under a minute remaining, just trying to find anything to go into the basket is the Edge. A drive, unsuccessful. Another steal. Now a little bit of a trade-off there. Tuttle's got it, kicks it out. Here's a bit of a work coming in for Strayer. I think he did a hook shot. I think we just saw a little hook shot.
He absolutely did do a hook shot. You see the smile on his face right there. That was a well-earned basket right there, and did it all himself right there. Sherry in the paint. He's got some creative shots to thank him in the hoop.
I mean, you saw a little bit of a smirk, too. I think he kind of realized, like, I think I just did that. Yeah, I mean, that's a little Dr. J, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar-esque shot right there. I love to see it. No matter how much the game evolves, you always go back to your roots.
Kareem the Dream right there would definitely be proud of that sky hook and how it just floats in off the glass right there. But nonetheless, in the final 30 seconds, you got to give credit to how the Raptors responded. They led up the comeback. They punched the Liberty Edge in the mouth, and they got punched back. But they didn't blink at all. They stuck with it, and they dominated this second half.
So 13 points is the advantage again. It's practically been decided at this point, folks, with how little time is left. But nonetheless, we're going to keep seeing fouls, I guess really until this is over.
And,
it's unfortunate, but, you know, I think people want to play as long as they can, especially when given the opportunity.
It's not like we're on a tournament schedule or anything here.
No, not at all. No schedule to be had. No schedule to be had.
No, we don't have a game that's right after this.
If I had to guesstimate, what is it, maybe 3:30? Maybe 3:30. Yeah, by the way, folks, again, we're not done. No. Not even close, folks. The final game of today's contests starts at 8 p.m. So we are going to be here in your ear all night long. We hope you enjoy it because, again, we got plenty of basketball to be decided, plenty of scouting opportunities for high schoolers, and plenty of opportunities really for these kids to develop and continue pursuing their craft in the wonderful game that is basketball. We've had a lot of great matchups today and a lot of good contests to be had. Still 5 more games to go with under 30 seconds remaining. And, I mean, what more could you ask for? You got basketball here. You got the NFL draft. You got MLB baseball. You got NASCAR later, folks. Like, it's a jam-packed Saturday. I don't know what more you could ask for.
Yeah, you mentioned it, Billy. There's great action here. None better than this. And this one's never ending.
Yeah, if you're in Canada, just take a little train, come all the way down to Florida, stop by, see us, say hi.
Billy's very friendly.
Ask us who your favorite draft pick of the day was. All right. That's all we want to know. Shout out to Arkansas legend Isaac Tesla getting drafted in the 3rd round of the Detroit Lions. My GOAT. Bust. That's insane.
Go Pack.
That's insane. But he gets golden on his team, and all of a sudden he's on his high horse.
Absolutely.
Wow.
You couldn't tell me anything.
Wow.
I had already bought my Super Bowl tickets, actually,
hey, it's all right.
That draft.
My Raiders got Ashton Genty. I could not be more happy. All right. Ashton Genty, we just need a run game. I really think Gino's just going to need a run game, and we're going to be fine. As running to the basket and finding his way to the rim is Strayer. Once again, this 30 seconds has felt like an eternity. I mean, we've probably had children, grandchildren, sent them off to school. They've had jobs. I mean, we could have done all that with our lives in the matter of these last 30 seconds with how long it's been.
I could have met a girl and fell in love.
It's always the hardest part, right?
Could have, but I was stuck for this last 30 seconds of this riveting game.
Oh, I know. Again, a lot of contact leads to a lot of fouls.
Closest game ever.
Now remember, folks, this lead was 19, so a lot of credit to the Liberty Edge because, they have cut it to within 12, trying to get the ball back. Let's see if they foul again unless they get possession, and they will foul again, in fact. Be my guess. It's Devin Amador picking up that foul, so another one on Amador. 8.5 seconds remain. Don't worry, folks, we still got basketball in this game.
Not done yet.
We are not done yet. 12 points is still the advantage. Again, this is the Florida Athletics Network. We are broadcasting live on YouTube. We are broadcasting live on Twitch. We are broadcasting live on Facebook. And we are broadcasting live now on Instagram Live. So tell your friends, tell your neighbor, tell your dog's cousin, tell your grandma, tell pretty much anyone around you to just turn it on, tune in, see what you think. And you know what? If you're listening, comment if you could be any fruit. Here's the question of the day, folks. If you could be any fruit, what fruit would you be? And why? Feel free to comment that and let me know. I would love to read your responses.
I'm going to orange.
Why?
They got the peel, so I get covers.
Ah. Interesting.
You get to kind of stay in that cool little shell.
Interesting. I would be an apple because an apple a day keeps anyone away if you throw it hard enough. That's what I like to say. 8.5 seconds remain. 13-point advantage. What do we think is going to happen here?
A foul.
I feel another foul coming on. Personally, folks, I do. I really do.
2 more free throw attempts.
2 more free throw attempts.
Per team.
By the way, folks, this is a tournament schedule.
I wonder if the officials know that.
By the way, folks, you remember when Tracy McGrady scored 12 in 7.6 seconds? That's still a possibility, but Tracy McGrady's not in the building, as far as I know. So it's probably not happening, unfortunately. 60-47, though. So now the Edge will take it down court. This should be the finish, I think. We don't know. but this could be the finish. And I don't know if that was a foul. Did he call it? Oh my goodness, we're getting 3 shots.
You can see that the Blaze, they want to play basketball.
I'm sorry, folks. I'm kind of baffled. We're getting 3 shots, and time expired. We're getting 3 shots. This is amazing. So now the lead can be cut to 10. It could be 60 to 50.
Some better game management.
A little, or wait, maybe not. Oh, no, they're going to let him shoot the free throws. That's going to be the game, though. I mean, right. I love letting the kids play all for it, but at what point does 0.3 seconds and 3 free throws do at the end of the day in the grand scheme of things? You'd be amazed at how many tip-ins could happen. Who knows? Who knows? But nonetheless, folks, an impressive victory for the Raptors nonetheless. Again, a big shout-out to Kia Jenkins, our star-studded player of this contest. 26 points, had a decent amount of rebounds and assists, but more importantly, folks, had 7 total steals that accumulated into 16 points off of turnovers. 16 points off of turnovers because of Kia Jenkins, as that first attempt coming from Maddox Strayer is off the mark. So a chance to cut the lead now to 12. And unfortunately will not do so, so I'll have to wait till the last opportunity. And folks, this will be the last shot of us signing off on this game. So the final one off the mark. They end at 2 for 22 on the day from the free throw line. The clock hit 0 for the first time in what feels like forever.
I know it's possible.
The score is 60 to 47. The Raptors take the win. I'm Billy Adams, alongside James Irwin, for game number 6, going into game number 7. Any last words, my friend? I think the people have heard us enough.
Great hard-fought game. You know, if we got a lot of time to share our thoughts for this game, so I'll wrap this up quick. Good hard-fought game right there. A lot of two physical teams right there. Just you gotta love the response by the Raptors, and was a great game. Hope for clean sportsmanship in the next one.
And we hope so, folks. Another game coming up. We got an all-star squad against the Blaze squad. Should be good. A bunch of junior varsity athletes up and coming, and you will see them in about 4 minutes' time. Again, I'm Billy Adams alongside James Irwin, right here on the Florida Athletics Network.